this is Henk Akkermans and this is Supply Chain Dynamics Chapter 5, Sysdea Gameplay 8, Customer Communication Delays. One of the most striking features of this simulation model is the fact that this blue line, which is the real demand the customers had, is so much different from the red line, which is the orders that are actually placed and all the hot air in between. And somehow what you would like is that actually the red line became closer to the blue line. And how can you do that? One of the commonly heard solutions for this is more transparency in the supply chain, more openness, more telling the customers what's actually happening so they themselves can make the right decisions. Well, that sounds like a lofty ideal, and indeed it looked a lot like what at least ASML looked like back in 2000, 2001. It's a very open company. The quarterly delays that are in here, so a delay period, lead time communication delay of 3 months, is probably pretty close to what was happening at that time. Every time that there were quarterly reports, ASML would have to show the order book and its inventory position, so customers would know anyway. But perhaps, what if they did more? Well, we can set up a scenario for that. As you see, I've made these two graphs with some of the key stats in there. And what would happen now if we would have a 3 months delay in communication, but 1 month, every month tell them all? Well, actually, the behavior would be pretty worse. So that's not really a situation you would like to be in. And why is that? Why is the demand even more inflated here? Well, because this is a bit like shouting fire in a full room where people can't get out easily. They react in the wrong way. They, as you can see here, the customer lead time expectation is considerably higher. And that's also a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because customers expect that the lead time is higher, they ask for more, and as a result of that, and they get what they fear, which is an inflated lead time. Is there an effect with the alpha slider here? Let's see if there are. What does alpha do? Alpha is the degree to which the customer believes what ASML is saying. So what could be interesting is suppose that they don't care what what ASML is saying. They just ignore that altogether. What would then happen? Oh, sorry. Once more. Alpha 0. Well, as you see, that's not so different. It's not so different at all. So there is not a very interesting effect of alpha in this case. What if it's at 1 with this lead time communication of 1? Ooh, then you have a gigantic effect. This means that fully the customers look at the lead times. They do no longer care what ASML is telling them, and you have this huge inflation. So that's not certainly what you want. On the other side, you could also say, let's be much more closed as a company. Let's not tell those, if the customers do stupid things on the basis of the information that we give them, well, let's give them less information. You cannot, of course, give them no information, but you can reduce it to, say, an annual information. Say that we have a lead time communication delay of 12 months or 6 months, whatever. Let's see what 12 months will do. Well, that would actually be pretty good. As you see, with 12 months, the customers, at least for the extent that they look at the communicated lead time, have a much more smoother expectation of that lead time. As a result of that, don't inflate their demand so much, and as a result of that, indeed have a much smoother demand. And as a result, also, for instance, the capacities grow less. So, not at all a bad idea. Just checking would in this case alpha still have an effect. lead time of 12, suppose we have an alpha of 1, which means that the customer does not at all care what ASML is telling them. Very nice indeed. And why? Well, the information of ASML may not be so relevant. What is especially relevant is the fact that the customers also see that on the basis of on the basis of their inferred reliability shortage, that the lead time stays pretty smooth. So they fully rely on this data, and is therefore interesting for them. Just to communicate our set of experiments, what if alpha is set at 0, so they only look at it, in that case, the customers pretty much have the base case scenario, the scenario where they ignore, this data then, how long the signal from the ASML, from the OEM, is then mostly ignored. So, to summarize, when customers act by amplifying demand and therefore increasing scarcity, in case you communicate scarcity to them, better communicate scarcity as slowly as possible. Perhaps even tell a little white lie, but there we'll return to in a minute.